Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike, and I'm going to continue my series today of doing tier lists for mini sculpts. If you haven't checked it out yet, I did a Rebel Storm one, so definitely go give it a shot. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. And so this one, we're going to do the next set released chronologically, which is Clone Strike. A pretty solid set for being one of the oldest ones. You know, good sculpts, pretty solid ones, and even the minis themselves in game are actually not too bad. So let's jump right in. Let's see what we got. So first things first is the original Ayla Sakura. For some reason, this one's not worked for me. I really don't like this sculpt very much at all. It almost reminds me of the Magna Guard, the Blue Magna Guard sculpt, where it just looks like she's just like falling backwards or slipping on something. This one gets bent easily. It's just not my favorite sculpt. I don't like the facial expression either too much. I really like the new Ayla Sakura a lot. That one looks great. I'd probably put that one like B or A tier, but this one for me, starting off bad. I'm not a fan of the Ayla Sakura sculpt personally. I think the original Egan Kohler sculpt's pretty good. Maybe A tier. I'll do B tier for now. I just think it looks really good overall. Definitely kind of like dynamic, hair moving. I think this is a better one than the Revenge of the Sith one, in my opinion. So I'll do B tier. Maybe I'll bump it up depending on how many we get going on here. The Acolyte. This one's pretty good. There's a Dark Side Acolyte. I think yes. I'm thinking maybe A tier. We'll see. I'm gonna put these ones towards the top of B tier. The ones I'm thinking about going to A tier. This one's really nice. I really like just kind of like the double lightsaber thing going on. Really cool. Original Anakin Skywalker. I think this is pretty great. A tier, maybe even S tier. But I'm just gonna see how this thing shakes out. Like I've said before, I'm gonna try to not differentiate within the tiers too much. I might say like high, low, mid B tier or A tier or whatever, but I'm not gonna get too crazy into it. But this is gonna be drop some stuff. It's just gonna be kind of how I go about it. So this one might be S tier though. I think it's a great sculpt. I'm just gonna wait for a second before I put it up there. The Aquala Spy. I personally have always loved this sculpt. I think it looks great. Just the way he's holding the gun down, like just really good detailing on the face, on just the clothes in general, the way he's holding his gun and moving. I don't know. I think this is a great one personally. I've always been a big fan. Let's see, Ventress. I think it's pretty good. I know it's accurate to the Clone Wars micro series, but I've just never been a fan of that look of Ventress in the first place personally. So for me, I think B tier is totally fine, but I can totally see why people would bump this up higher, but for me, I'm just gonna say down here. There's a lot of like dual lightsaber action going on. I think this is one. I like this one more. I think looks really really good overall, but I'll put this one in B tier. Arc Trooper, I'm gonna put it in C tier. I'm not really impressed by this. I think if the Arc Trooper was doing some sort of like combat pose, I'd really really like it a lot. But this Arc Trooper for me, or do I think B tier? I'm gonna be nice and say B tier for now. It's just kind of standing upright, kind of pounding his chest with his big gun. I think if he had like more of like a combat pose, I'd like it. I think the detail is actually pretty good. It really is really really good detail. But I just wish he was doing something more with that detail that he's got. But anyways, that's just kind of me. I'm gonna put this one in E tier. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. I might put some of these in S tier depending on how it goes. I think the original Aura Singh looks really nice. Really 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 nice. Very, very good, very, very good pose. Great paint work. Just the lightsaber looks nice. You got the sniper in the back that looks great. So I think this might be an S tier. I might drop it in S tier just for now. I think it looks fantastic, personally. Okay, I'm just going to throw all these battle droids down here in C tier. Unfortunately, they get better. I'm not a big fan of the old battle droids. They fall over. They fold over easily. I don't like that at all. I'm going to put this guy high C tier just because I like the red a little bit more. And then Geonosian looks okay, so I'll put these ones there. Not a fan. Darth Maul, I'm going to say A tier, personally. I think the Darth Mauls, I feel like I can't put him in S tier because I think that Champions of the Force, or Champions of the Darth Maul, Champion of the Force, or whatever, or what, Champion of the Sith? Yeah, I think he's much better sculpt. But this one's great. This one's really, really great sculpt for sure, so I'm going to do A tier. I really like the sculpt. But it's not going to be S tier for me, not quite. I got to reserve that for the other one. We got the Battle Droid Officer. I think it's interesting how the original Battle Droids, they don't have good articulation going on. They're just kind of like standing up blocky, like all their joints are together, for a good reason. The molds weren't quite like up to snuff yet. But this one's pretty nice. Like, he's standing upright, he's got binoculars in one hand, looks great, he's got the gun going off in the other direction. I really like this sculpt personally. I've always been a big fan of it. And even has like a little thing on the back too. I might just put it low A tier. I really like this sculpt a lot personally. This one right here, the stap. I'm gonna put the stap in low B tier. My problem with the stap is this. I wish there was some way it was elevated a little bit more, like higher. It looks like he's falling over, so I wish the angle was a little bit high, just a little bit more upright, just a little bit higher. And I think for me it would be perfect. I just don't like how low it is to the ground. I've always thought it looked like he was running into a rock. I know it's just like dust or just kind of wind or whatever, but to me it always looks like he's crashing into a rock and he's about to biff it. So I think it's a pretty solid sculpt. I just think it's not quite there personally, in my opinion. So he's just leaning over too much. The clone trooper is here. I like the clone trooper kneeling more. I'm gonna put him in low B tier. The problem with this clone trooper, I think it's pretty good. I don't like the way. I don't think Clone Strike did the best job with Phase 1 clone troopers. For me, I'm just not a big fan of how they look. I think they're detailed pretty nicely, but I think they do much better with the Phase 2, and then they do much better in like with Phase 1 clone troopers later in the series, personally. But not my favorite. I'm gonna put this guy in C tier, low C tier. I've never been a big fan of this clone trooper. The reason I don't like this sculpt is because it looks like his head is so unnaturally cocked to the left. Like, if I move my head to the left, it doesn't go like 90-degree turn. It's more like 70 degrees. Whereas this guy is just like totally cocked over and looks like someone snapped his neck. I do like the way he's holding the gun and the pose moving, but for some reason when I see these clones, I just stay away from them. I don't like to do army building with these ones personally. The commander, I'm gonna do low B tier. I think it looks pretty decent for a commander. The grenadier, not as big of a fan. He's just kind of going like rah rah rah. Yeah, like I mentioned before, if you like these, great. I'm not a crazy fan of the Clone Strike clones, with one exception, which we'll get to right now. I think this one's S tier. I've always loved the aerial clone trooper commander. If you've seen my other ones, I think if you have like jetpack and you're blasting off, I think it looks fantastic. So definitely gonna say S tier on this one. I think it looks great. So that's kind of my opinion on that one. Following that up though, I'm gonna do a few high S tiers. I'm gonna put this one in S tier as well. Really low S tier personally. I just love how I think it's the best looking Count Dooku. The way he's standing, his cape, especially like the lightning coming out of his hands, fantastic. So there we go. Droideka, I'm gonna put this a little bit higher personally. I think the Droideka looks awesome. Like, they captured it really well. I'm impressed they're able to make it look so good for Clone Strike. So definitely a big fan of this one. So I'm loading up S tier right now, as you can see. Clone Trooper Sergeant, it's alright. I think I like it because of the coloring. I think I like it a little bit more than these other Clone Troopers. I might actually be generous and put the battle droids just below it. I don't think that they deserve to be above. I don't think they deserve to be the below battle droids that were this era, so I'll put them in high C tier. Geonosian drone, not bad at all. What do I think? Is this more of a B tier or a C tier? I think it's more B tier, honestly. I think it looks pretty good for a Geonosian. Unfortunately, it's kind of just reusing the Tusken Raider. It's just kind of reusing the whole Tusken Raider thing, the whole motion. So I think with this one, I'll put it in. I think I'll put it right here in mid B tier. I think it looks pretty solid overall. Dwarf Spider Droid. What do I think about the Dwarf Spider Droid? I think I'll put Dwarf Spider Droid still in B tier. I think it looks really nice for the Dwarf Spider Droid. I like it more than this guy crashing. I'll put it right there. I'm kind of a sucker for droids. Like really well-looking droids in this one, so it's kind of how I go about it. Corran Raider looks pretty solid for Corran overall. I don't know, doesn't wow me. I don't hate it. I'll just put it low B tier. I think it's whatever. Or yeah, I'll put it there. Dirge. This is my opinion on this Dirge. So I think it almost is perfect. I'm gonna put it in the top of A tier, and this is why. Because I like the jetpack. He's like jetting away. Personally, I think every time I look at this, I feel like it looks like he's on the ground. Like he's like horizontally jetpacking across the ground. And I know he's not exactly doing that. He's just kind of like jumping back and shooting. For me, the thing about this one is he's just too low. I wish he was a little bit higher up, maybe like jetting like in this degree or something like this instead of like this. I think that would look a lot more epic, more ominous instead of a guy basically lying backwards. So otherwise, I think he's detailed fantastic. He looks awesome. I've always had a hard time with how far back he's cocked. So that's kind of where I'm at here. General Grievous, the original. I think this one looks pretty solid. I'm gonna say high B tier personally. I'm gonna put him up here. I really like the pose. He's just kind of like pointing out. I think this one's definitely better than Supreme Commander. Like how he's like unholstering his gun at the same time. I've been a big fan of this one. I think it looks good, really good. Not great, not bad, just good, very solid. Let's see these guys right here. The Gungan infantry. They look good. I don't know. I'll kind of put them down in this area. I'm gonna say mid B tier is fine for me. They look nice. Just kind of the movement, kind of moving over, kind of like dodging over to the left or something. Not bad. Personally, as you've heard, I've never been a fan for some reason of the look of this one. I had a viewer actually put this in a previous video, and I had a viewer comment this one their favorite one. So I'm sorry. I just have never liked this sculpt at all. I'm not sure why. I think it's just. Is it just kind of like to the... I'll put it above Aelus Occur, though. But is it like... I don't know. It's like he's like doing the sidekick, which kind of does look cool, but at the same time, for me, in the sculpt, it just doesn't work. I know a lot of people might put this in like A tier or something, or way high, but for me, I just have never liked this sculpt. I just don't think it looks all that great. It's just kind of just blue. And I just don't like the way he's doing the posture. I think it's just kind of over the top. And... like when you look at it really closely, you can say, "Oh, that looks not bad," but I just can't do this one. Not a fan. All right, this guy, I'm going to say this guy's top of A tier, maybe even S tier. I think this thing looks fantastic. It's just like a Jedi ninja, basically. That's literally what it looks like to me. So I've always thought these guys look incredible. So awesome sculpts here. I'm going to put this one in A tier, probably right here. There we go. Yeah, Jango Fett, very solid. Not bad. Yeah, really, really solid overall. Great detail. Looks really well done overall, like across the board. So I'm a big fan of that. Let's see. Ishitib. I think it's the Ishitib Scout. I think this thing looks really good. I'm going to put this in A. I just think just kind of the way he's moving, the detail on the face, like they were able to paint that thing really, really well. He kind of looks like he's dashing. I might actually put him right here, just above this one, personally. Really, really nice sculpt for an uncommon. It's always fun to see commons and uncommons get good sculpts because I feel like sometimes they don't get the best ones. All right, this one, Klaatuinian Enforcer. I mean, the one nice thing I think, like, yeah, his like kind of clothes or armor has nice texturing, but I've never been a big fan of people with poses that are just kind of like this poses. Like, that's like the Hoth Trooper. It's like Mace Windu, Jedi Master. Doesn't work for me. Ki-Adi-Mundi, I think this is an A tier. I just kind of like the way it looks like he's trudging through a snowstorm or something. I'm not sure, but I like it. I think it's really good. I'm going to put it right down here in low A tier. That works good for me. Gungan Cavalry on Kadu, also very good. I'm going to put it right above probably these guys. I think it looks great. Just they're able to capture the creature. It looks really, really nice. The Gungan charging on top, very good. So definitely A tier. I'm going to say B tier. So, yeah, B tier for this one. I'm actually bumped this guy down. I don't really know if I care about him too much. B tier for Luminara. I think B tier for her is probably best right there. Yeah, that looks good for me. It's a solid pose. No, don't get me wrong, but it's never wowed me, but it's solid. It's good. Don't really care for this pose either. I'll put these guys above the clones just a little bit. I think they look okay, but... I don't know. I'm trying to figure myself out here. I've never been a crazy fan of just people holding the gun out straight like that. I don't think it's the coolest thing you could be doing, but it's all right. Yeah, the Naboo soldier for me is fine. I'll just put it down in C tier. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's just kind of boring to me. Original Kit Fisto. I'm gonna put this one a little bit higher. I think it's better than these ones. Not quite as good as these ones up top, but definitely really good looking one. I like this one probably the most. Almost the most of all of the original Jedi, kind of. Let's see. Obi-Wan Kenobi, General Kenobi, I should say. Not bad. I think his lunge is a little bit too wide. It almost looks like he's about to do splits. So I think for that, I'm going to put him still B tier, though. I think it still looks really nice, really good looking, especially for episode 2. But I'll put it down in B tier right there. This one looks pretty good for General... so Mace Windu, the original Mace Windu. I do like the pose. It's a little over dramatic for me, just a little bit, but I still think it's pretty good. So I'm gonna still put it in. Should I say B tier? I'm gonna put it up here. I think it looks good, but a little over dramatic for me. So really good. We'll see how it shakes out though. Nikto Soldier. I don't. I'm gonna put this bottom of C tier. I don't dislike it as much as these ones personally, but it's in the game he's useless, but the pose, again, it just looks like a knockoff Tusken Raider pose, so I'll just kind of put him down there. Geonosian Picador on array. These things look great. The creature looks fantastic. I think that's kind of where the highlight is, especially. When you get a little bit more size, you can get a lot of great detail, so I'm going to put this one probably high A tier. I like it a little bit more than the Cadu, just a little bit. That's just my personal preference, I guess, but it looks good. I think you can make a case this might be better, but I'll leave this one there. The Overseer. How does the Overseer compare to that one? The Drone. I like the Overseer just a little bit more, so I'm going to bump him up. I think he's pretty good. I'll put him right there. I think it's a good-looking sculpt. Really solid. Not my favorite one, though, but definitely a solid-looking sculpt. Original Padme. Pretty solid-looking, too. This is A tier. I'm getting tempted to bump in Egan Kohler up into A tier. I really like that, but we'll see. I'm going to put the original Padme probably right there, just still in the middle. Good sculpt for sure. It's fine, yeah. Original Qui-Gon Jinn. Let's see, Qui-Gon Jinn sculpt. Definitely a good pose for him overall. I think I like him just a little bit more than Kit Fisto. I'll put him right behind Ventress. I still think Ventress is a really good one, even though I'm holding it back just a little bit. So definitely solid for this guy. Corrin Raider. This one looks pretty nice. I don't like it as much as the Corrin Assassin, so I'm still gonna probably put it in A tier. But I think he looks pretty good. It looks like he's jumping off a rock, kind of lunging at you. He's not. It doesn't look like he's falling over. It looks like he's dashing forward, which is the big difference to me. Let's see here. What do I like though? I think I'll put him again middle of B tier. I think that this should be just fine for now. The original. This one's a good one. A really, really good one. I might even put this in A tier actually. I'm just gonna put this guy bottom of A tier. I'm gonna do this. I really, really like this Kit Fisto. Not Kit Fisto, Plo Koon. I think this is a really good looking Plo Koon. I like the way he's holding his lightsaber and he's just kind of like looking up on the stars or something. Really, really good sculpt. Big fan of it. They did his face really well, which is a hard thing to do. Now, one of my all-time favorites, Super Battle Droid. I think, man, I love this thing so much. Boy. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this up here. Personally, in S tier. For me, I've always really, really loved the look of the Super Battle Droid, and they made so many of them, but at the end of the day, I think this one, for me, is by far my favorite look. It looks like he's, beefy. The newer ones in the Clone Wars sets look too skinny, whereas this guy just loved the pose, just upright, kind of almost like leaning back just a bit. Just got the forearm out shooting. And it's detailed great. For me, I think this is just, I love the Super Battle Droid, super biased take. This is one of my favorite looking pieces in the game. Like, if I could make an army of Super Battle Droids, I'd just dump all the Revenge of the Sith ones and just load up on these. So, CC10, it's alright. I think they do solid job on him. I'm going to probably put him down here with Kit Fisto. Maybe just a hair higher, but yeah, I'll put these Jedi just kind of together in that middle B tier. Good looking, but not my favorite of all time. I think the Rodian Mercenary actually looks pretty good, so I'm going to bump him up. I actually really, really like the way the Rodian Mercenary looks. His dual-wielding guns. He's looks a little too stuck upright. Maybe if he was crouching a hair, I'd like that more. But I'll put him up here. I'm going to bump Egan Kohler, by the way, up to A tier. The other Battle Droid, I think this one's good. I'm going to put this guy in B tier, though, because I just really like the other one's look. His stance is fantastic. But I still love me a good Super Battle Droid, so I'm going to put him just kind of middle of B tier behind these other ones. Probably maybe my second or third favorite. I think Universe might be my third favorite Super Battle Droid look and appearance. See, we're almost done, so let's take a look and see at the Geonosian Soldier. How does this Geonosian hold up compared to the other ones? So I put the drone here, the Overseer here. I think this is the best one, mostly just because he's like the flight. The gun looks good. The flying looks really good. Looks almost like he's jumping off a rock or something. So overall, very good. I'm gonna just kind of put him right below here. Yeah, Yeah, that looks good for me. I still think this guy's got enough interesting detail, even without a really cool pose, to put him up in the middle. What is this one? The Weekway Mercenary? I might get that one wrong. Sometimes I don't have all these common and uncommon guys memorized. Let's see here. This guy, I kind of like, I dig the pose. I mean, it looks menacing. He's gonna like assassinate you or something. I think it looks really good. I'm gonna put him on bottom of A tier. I think that looks really, really good for a common. Yeah, I think it looks pretty sweet overall. Captain Typho, sorry, I don't like this pose at all. I don't know what it is. It's just, for me, I think I know what it is actually. He's kind of like, he looks like he's doing lunges or something, and then his arms are out almost like he's gonna like helicopter around, and then I've always thought that his stance to me looks kind of corny. Just it's really outstretched there. Not my favorite. I've made this vocal before. Not a fan of the Captain Typho look personally. Let's see here. Wookiee Commando. I've always thought that this Wookiee Commando looked like he was trudging against like 100 mph wind or 100 km/h wind. He's just super, super, like he looks good. It's just not my favorite looking one, so I think I'll dump him just right there above it. There's better looking Wookiees for sure, but not bad at all. Definitely solid. Let's see, Sidious. I don't like the Sidious as much. I think he looks good, but he's just kind of a boring black prism almost. Just a boring black, just kind of stick. I don't think he's bad, but for me, he's more of a B tier. It's just, he does look good. It's just not as exciting or not as great as some of the other ones that they've made. So, what do I think about this guy? He's better than these ones. I'm going to put him right behind. Yeah, I'll put him right behind Kenobi. Okay, 3 left here. We got Yoda, which is funny because Yoda and Yoda Jedi Master almost look the same. In fact, they might be the same, but they're not. They're not quite the same. They just look so similar. Hey, that's fine. It's just a little teeny little mini. You can barely see him. It's whatever. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Yoda one. I think there's better Yoda ones personally. I think I might put. Do I want to say that? I think okay. Let's put Yoda up here, but maybe low. I'm just not a big fan of this. It's Yoda. It's fine. I don't really care about this sculpt that much. Anyway, I'm going to dump these two down on top of C tier. I'm just going to do that. Yeah. Okay, Quinlan Voss. I think he's an S tier. I think this guy looks sweet. I'm going to put him probably high up in S tier. I think it might actually be the best one. This is tough. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to rank all these ones individually. I don't know how I would do it, but I'll just kind of bump him up in S tier. I think he looks fantastic. I think he looks much better than the Alliance and Empire one, personally. I'm not a huge fan of the Alliance and Empire sculpt, personally. This guy looks fantastic. He looks like he's just, that impulsive savagery is just coming out. He's just going to come get you. It looks great. Zam Wessel. Did I even say that right? Probably not, but whatever. Zam, again, I'm not a huge fan of like the just, gun in the face type of poses. They're not my cup of tea, but it's not too bad. I think it looks good. They did a really good job like with other interesting things with the pose as opposed to just like standing straight upright. Like it looks like Zam's moving forward. Did a good job on the detail, so I think I'll put Zam just kind of bottom of B tier, so not bad. Okay, how do I like this? I think this is, I'm going to put him top of A tier. I think these are good S tiers. Definitely high A tier for sure. These all look good. Yeah, it looks good to me. I might be a little bit too generous on this guy. I don't know if his sculpt is really warranting B tier. I'm going to actually swap these guys out. I think that looks better. Okay, how do I like this? Not bad. Solid, solid, solid. Okay, I think this is what I'm going to kind of stay on here. Okay, there you go. There's my Clone Strike tier list. Hope you guys enjoy it. Please like, please subscribe. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. What are your favorite looking minis from this set? What are your least favorite? And we'll go from there. This is 2 down, I think 15 to go. And I think I'll just do the main sets probably, just because there's not a whole lot of extras. Like with some of the other Clone Wars add-ons, I might just throw those like those minis into the just like the Clone Wars set later on. But for now, I think this will be good. Anyway, till next time, everyone. Have a good one.